Welcome everyone to my channel, Jabbers. I'm a new content creator here, and I'm gonna primarily focus on this game, Girls Frontline 2. We'll see where it goes, but I would like to focus on Pattern Remolder and Phase Clash. I've seen a lot of things online, going back and forth about confusion with this new system, and I'd like to explain it a little bit. Starting off, you may have noticed this stat sufficiency score increase across the board. Well, that is because level 1 gives you these base stats by default. So, these base stats, along with these level unlocks, can be upgraded through data connections. And this data connections unlock these Imagoform previews, respectively at 10, 20, 30, 45, and 60. Well, what they unlock kind of depends on what the doll is focused on. The only things that stay the same out of these are Seedling and Shoot. And these stay the same and are dependent on the type of class the doll is. So Seedling would be the same across the board for Sabrina, Groza, Andorus, and Perry. These two stats will remain the same. And depending on which doll it is, everything else changes, I believe. There's nothing else that's the same. Like this, Groza scales on HP, Andorus and Sabrina scale on defense. So everything else changes. It's all dependent on that. You're gonna want to unlock this depending on what you feel comfortable with, and what you deem necessary for the doll, or you can go all the way to 60 for your favorite dolls. I'm not sure the rate of income you get for this, since this is in-game content, or in-game grind, I should say. And yeah, we get a pretty good amount with the release of the system, and I don't know how much we can upkeep it. You get these data connections, or data for short, from the Battle Pass, the Voyage Logs, which is the Battle Pass. Phase Clash itself, through the loot boxes you find running around gathering, and through the dismantling of growth data. And I'm just going to call this artifacts, but each one of these equipment slots varies per doll. I have not found anything to even guess what they would be. I think this is just randomly decided by the devs what it's going to be. However, the majority of these unlocks, or these slots, should be relating to your doll's class. So Groza has 4 slots here and 2 support slots. Sharkry only has 3, since she's a Sentinel character. Let's go look at her. Only has 3 Sentinel slots. Oops. Shush. Sharkry only has 3 of these Sentinel slots, with 2 Vanguard and 1 Bulwark. So it's a little weird decision making there, but anywho, going back to, let's go look at Zhongyu since it's easier to understand. Going back to these Imago factors, these things are color-coded to make you easier to understand, but my brain works in a different way, where it's class-reliant. This is Bulwark, this is Vanguard, this is Support, this is Sentinel. She has no Sentinel slots. Notice she only has 4 Support and 2 Vanguard. However, down here, you start to notice that you actually do need a few stacks of Sentinel. And these stacks here are obtained through your equipment, your artifacts. It is a total tally of what you farm, and this is where the true grind appears. These artifacts have 2 primary stats. I'm just going to call them primary stats. And you have to deal with 2 numbers up here and 3 down here. The main stats here unlock, of course, these tiers. So all upgrading does is unlock the ability to use these. It doesn't actually give you any of this. Ugh, it's grind. But going back to this, you also have to grind for substats. These are also additive and tallied. You cannot go over these notches. They stack up to these notches. So say, let's go to Groza again. Let's unequip this. Going here, you see you get an HP boost with three notches. Okay, let's equip that. Expand this. You'll go to another equipment slot here. And this one has HP boost. Okay, it gives you 2. And that's most likely because it's a purple. But you see, you get 2 extra notches here, which totals to 5 HP boost. So you actually get this unlock of 3.2% max HP increase. Okay, you could not go over this. So any other max or HP boost from any of these will only be useful with their 1 notch. So this would be useful if this was max HP boost. Anything over this number, if this was 3, is a wasted number. But sometimes, you know, if you don't want to deal with the grind, who cares? But that is pattern remolder in itself. It's honestly pretty easy to understand once you get around weird color codings and substats. It's all additive. You're trying to meet these numbers on these tabs for the colors, and you're trying to meet substats additive form across the board. You got to deal with 2 different ranges of farming, so it is kind of difficult to get. Okay, phase clash. You'll find that in boundary push in this tab up at the top right. These are a whole separate set of rewards from breakthrough. And before we actually get started with phase clash, I highly recommend you filling out the skill trees for both assault tactics and infiltration. Phase clash does make use of most of these perks, and they are very useful, and I would almost say required for efficiently doing phase clash. However, in phase clash, not all of these perks can be used. Like, in breakthrough, using an SMG character on a boss basically like just erases his whole health bar. That no longer applies in phase clash. And same with I think it doesn't affect elites either. Yeah, you can no longer insta-kill elites. So, but however, there is a difference. SMG characters are still useful for killing certain units in cover while roaming in Tarkov mode. So if you can't use a pistol, sniper, AR, or whatever on a unit, the SMG still comes in effect with shooting over cover and stuff like that. It's still generally useful to have an SMG on your team. Anyway, back to phase clash. You have 3 elements per week. Each one is on a rotation. Every week it changes. Our current one is fire, electric, and water. This week's crate, this is like the special Easter egg crate. Let me see if I can get into it. Was actually on the electric one. And this number over here is the total tally of rewards from all 3. So whatever you want to focus on the week, generally it's good to just do everything, but usually if you're not feeling it, just focus on your single element you want to farm. However, you do want this crate. This crate will give you the good, and you do want the really goodies that this can give you. Each growth data is affiliated with the element, so that's generally how you'd farm what you want for each character. Each week, this also resets, and you get an X amount of whatever this offers you. It's pretty good. I think generally you can relatively get mid-range quite easy. However, if you want to do some serious, spend like an extra 15-20 minutes in Phase Clash, you can finish this relatively quickly. But going in to Phase Clash, let's start with this, and I've already almost 100% this. Just pick your team. So I use Springfield here. She has a debuff of some kind. It doesn't specify what it is, though, until you get the game. We'll go ahead and start this. When in Phase Clash, I highly, highly recommend at the beginning, whenever you're finally getting into this game mode, doing everything. Doing everything you can. In Breakthrough, since they use some of the same tiles in this mode, some of these teleporters can already be unlocked. But if you sit down and spend the time to do everything you can, it makes this mode so easy to do. So say I spawned here, and say all these tiles are like unexplored. Well, if you're ignoring the crates for now, and you just wanna get the main objective done by eliminating the enemy boss and recovering these rare crates, you can just teleport to the boss. Because fully exploring the map gives you the capability of just teleporting pretty much every update, every week. So it's a huge, huge thing that some people may overlook. But that is, in the short run, that is Phase Clash. It's relatively easy, just you go and farm loot. I may release another video on how the mechanics work in this game. Personally, I prefer using the quick option and then running away, see if I attract attention. It's just much easier to, it makes everything more fluid. It's just you have to be careful when running around. Sometimes your aim will snap to things you don't want to shoot at. So you have to be careful where you aim your character. Say like you're trying to shoot an explosive barrel and you accidentally shoot a single and a group of enemies. Yeah, it's unfortunate. You can trigger and deal with the hell that is this mode. Some of these enemies are pretty tough if you trigger them. So you gotta be careful. You'll get the experience with all these enemies in Breakthrough. So that is my video for today. Thanks for watching, everyone, and if you liked the video, you know what to do. Thanks, guys. See you in the next one.